I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for selecting my video. So hello, so if I've got my continuity correct, this will be part 2. So it's about 10-15 minutes before the racing starts. Part 1 was just showing around the pits. Part 2 will record the actual racing, the banger racing here at Civil War 2026 at Hedensford Hills Raceway. I'm doing a bit of a challenge getting down these steps because it is rather muddy, and I'm going to get myself to the track side and record, cherry pick some of the races. I won't record them all because there's too many banger races, but I'll get a good few races anyway. I'll cherry pick them. 1600cc's and 2 litres, north versus south, for the Civil War 2026 here at Hedensford Hills Raceway, which is kind of north of Birmingham. If I've got the continuity correct, which I hope I have, this will be the part 2 and racing will be starting very shortly.
I think what he was trying to say is that he's from the south, he's like a shandy, and he's really sorry in the south. 456 is Terry Horse, and he is amongst them as well with 268 here at the north. I think we're going to go. Let's forget the rest of them. Let's sit back and enjoy the action then. It's Civil War 2026. Whatever we north, whatever we south. Here we go, race number 1. Let's go! Racing!
seat. Looks like the south one, that one pretty well. I'll get the next seats.
You stepped up really well a few years ago now from junior micro stock cars, the 1600 bangers mainly. Take where I can take the cheers in that bit and make a note of them. Don't worry.
So that's heat 2, it's 12 laps, again infantry, the 1600s. I'll record this for you.
After that, we can work out how many red and how many white are still going. Again, I've got a
Good. Steve Armstrong, Cecil's 194. It's amazing. He keeps it going. He just kept going even after all the hits. That's who I actually done a banger racing with. I had a shot with the Dreamers team, Cecil's Renaway back in 2010, 2011. It's amazing back at the race story. I didn't think he would still be going after all that. Getting a great shot. So that was another win for the South. Steve Armstrong, what's Cecil's Renaway team? That was years ago.
Yeah, good bit of practicing and team racing. What strategy you
Just going to clear the track and record the next sheet as well.
2026, so looking obviously we see with different types of
that was the infantry. The next races is the tanks, that'll be the 2 litres, the big stuff, so I'll record that as well. Clear up the track at the moment.
driver. They've been will be next. Well done to 577. For a northern wind, but unfortunately Jack Foster didn't last. The man that absolutely hates a microphone, because you'll be surprised. I did say to him at one point last year that alright, let's go through it.
That was another win from the south. I think there might be another other half of the tanks. I'll record that if it is. Clear up the track first of all. We'll see what the next one is. So it's the junior bangers that are out next. So I'll take this opportunity to have a wee look at the damage report in the pits. I'll just record the main Civil War, some of the men. So I'll cherry pick the races. It's got this old spring removed, suspension. Oh, some more work being done. It's handy, able to lift it up and get underneath. That's independent suspension on the rear on this one. On there. That's the junior bangers that are going out on track next. The hits on them won't be quite as severe as the national bangers, like the Civil War stuff, but I think it's more kind of like a nudge and spin maybe for the junior bangers. They're about 11-year-olds to 15-year-olds or something. The junior bangers are just basically, I think they're 11-year-old, 15-year-old, so they're not quite as hard. Saying that, they don't have the radiators at the front, so it's probably still pretty hard, like, but not as severe as the main bangers, the big ones. That's the smaller cars for the junior bangers. So I wouldn't underestimate it, they're probably put on quite a good show, but they are only infants, so they won't be as severe as the big hits that you get in the national bangers. Well, that's going on behind us. The junior bangers are out on the track, at the track stoppage. I'll record a wee bit of that for you as well, just to let you see what it's like. So that's just a wee sample of what the junior bangers are like. They're not bad actually, they're quite fast. That'll be the infantry going out again, 1600s. It's the junior bangers come off truck. Going to swap the engine over in this banger. That's going to be to quickly be transported, take that engine out, put that engine in. Very quick work, teamwork. Very busy. Cecil's Steve Import. One minute he's helping change the engine on that banger. Now he's out racing just in the space of a couple of minutes. That guy's getting an engine swap. So it's been quite a lot of bangers. I'm proud to see it. It's second heat for the infantry, 1600s. So it's certainly been quite busy. So he's got his team of mechanics and that are working on his other cars as well. minutes. I'll record some more as well. See how we're getting on with the car there, the engine swap. Well, that was quick. I've actually got the engine out already. So the gearbox transmission is still in the car. It's front wheel drive, transverse, transaxle. That's the drive shafts. That's where the flywheel clutch goes. That's the flywheel clutch there. That's where the starter motor goes on the ring gear. So the transmission and drive shafts are still in the car, and they're going to be able to put the good engine into this. And that was on the space of about 25 minutes, half an hour. You've got your exhaust downpipe manifold. Subframe goes right along the front on this one. And all your wiring for your engine, that's all been disconnected. The gear stick selector is still connected up because the gearbox is still in the car. That's just cleaning the gaskets, the cylinder head for the manifold gaskets.
That's done, and we're doing that now.
That's the input shaft to the gearbox. Clutch driven wheel goes on that spline, and that compresses up against the flywheel. That's the clutch there, the clutch pressure for the assembly. And your gears go through your gear ratios, final drive, and then into the hubs to drive the wheels. So the engine brackets on that have been reinforced. They've allowed to reinforce the engine brackets in the national lines. Still in the original positions, but they've got extra reinforcement. Such as these bolts there, for instance. That's reinforcing the engine mount. The original engine mounts, with the hits in the national bangers, the engine would just be ripped out quite easily, so they're allowed to reinforce them, but they still keep the engine in the original position. The original brackets were just reinforced. Still got original engine mount as well, the rubber mount. So that's the inlet manifold that's getting bolted up. It's got a carburetor as opposed to the original injection system. They're locked, I think it's a twin throttle carburetor. So that's the inlet manifold just being bolted up to the replacement engine. So they've just positioned the transmission up a bit. They've rested it on there to get the transmission up to height so they can connect the engine up to it with the bolts that go around the bell housing. That's the clutch belt housing there. So they're just getting ready to install the engine in this car, the Vauxhall car, probably a Vauxhall Superior or something. So that's the other car that was all smashed in at the back. They've got it up to this height. They're probably going to pull the metal out and change the rear trailing arm axle. It's completely snapped. So they'll put another axle on one of these axles down here. They've got plenty of spares. So they've got the thing up to height, working height, quite comfortably. And sure they'll get that out. If they could swap an engine in about an hour, they could probably, it's amazing what they could do. They work their magic on it. Teamwork. But I'm sure they'll probably get that car back out again. In fact, I'm almost certain of it because he's working on it now. If it was too far gone, they would trailer it. That means it would be just loaded up. But they'll get these cars back out again for sure. So this engine's going to be able to get hoisted in. It's going to be able to get installed very shortly. That's the crankshaft pulley that he's just removed there. That's what drives your auxiliary drive, alternators, etc. Power steering pump. So that's the engine just going to be positioned into the car now. It's just the engine's being transplanted in. It's just carefully being positioned in. So they probably took that pulley off for clearance and then they'll put the pulley back on again once the engine's in its position. The process of that's the engine just being positioned into its final place now, just carefully manipulating it in, manoeuvring it in. So that's a critical stage, that's the engine marrying up to the transmission. So they've got to connect the input shaft up to the crankshaft spigot gear. So the input shaft doesn't actually drive, the crankshaft doesn't drive the input shaft directly, it drives it via the clutch. It's the clutch driven plate that's splined onto the input shaft of the transmission. The input shaft just rests on the centre of the flywheel on a spigot gear. And it's the clutch that takes up the drive between the crankshaft. Basically the clutch is in the centre. That puts the drive into the input shaft of the transmission. Well, that's when they're just putting the input shaft, connecting it up to the spigot gear of the crankshaft. We've got to use a crowbar to help manipulate the engine. It's quite awkward, this particular part, but they will get it in obviously. It just takes a bit of rattling around and manipulating to get the fits. So that looks like the input shaft's connected up to the spigot gear on the crankshaft. That was quite a difficult, but it looks as though it's been done. So now we've just got to bolt the engine up and then connect all the components to it. Yourself to the track side, I'll come back to this later because the next heat's going to be at a start, I don't want to miss this. So it's the second heat for the second half of the 1600s infantry bangers, so just we're waiting on them lighting up, loading the track up. We're just bolting up the transmission to the engine. It looks as though that's it in situation now. And that's the race away to start. I'm going to get myself to the race side. good heat. Got that for you as well. So I'll see how they're getting on with the engine on the Vauxhall. So that's the engine actually in position by the looks of it, and they're just connecting up all the components, the wiring, and just finally bolting it down into the last engine bolt there. They're still held on with the slide, but they'll be long at getting that all fired up and ready to go. So it's just kind of like been staying here for a bit. I've just been watching the progress on that car with the engine getting swapped. This is amazingly quick. It's quite a fascinating thing. We're going to see how they're getting on with the other one, with the rear axle and the car on the truck. So on the hoist, let's see how they're getting on with that. So it looks like it's been disconnected. They're just undoing putting probably some bolts or something to get it off completely, and then they'll just install this new one. I think, well, this new old one, if you know what I mean. New old stock. Place it be that. So that's the engine mounts being bolted in. Engine brackets.
As soon as we went up the roll and that, went into second.
So it looks like they're just on the cusp of removing the old one. Well, that might actually be in fact that's the new one that's just been put in position now. I think that's the old one there. I missed that bit because I was heading up to the bog. So, well, that's the new one I think has been installed now. Starting up on it. I missed the actual initial start, but it has been firing up now. So that's it. That's junior bangers that are out just now. Just filling up with coolant again. That's the engine installed, it's final stage. So that's that one, pretty much the task complete. Got a new engine, replacement engine. So that was junior bangers. I watched that, I didn't record it because it'd just be too long. It's not anything I haven't seen before in the big heats, so I'll record some of the big stuff again when they go out onto the track. There was not as many hits because it is junior bangers, so Still putting a good show though. Let's see how they're getting on with this. So as it happens, and actually at this area of the pitch, because it's convenient, I was actually tracking how they were getting on with that engine, so I've been kind of like here for quite a bit. And then, as you say, I've rented the Cecil's rented Ricky Bangers through the Dreamers Team 194 Steve Armstrong's back in 2010, 2011. One shot the Banger Racing, so I was at London and Ipswich. So I'll just look around the rest of the pitch and I'll record some more heats in the big bangers. So like I say, as it happens, all the cars there are mostly red. So I don't take sides, I just here to enjoy the action and that. No, I've never just have a sledgehammer, it's great. No, I don't take sides, never have anything. Just here to see enjoy the entertainment and the crashes. Don't really care who wins, I just like the banger racing, the action. Be it that's in case you're thinking that I spent a lot of time at the Reds, that might be like, you know, supporting the Reds and that. It's just have to show you this, is quite funny actually. Bouncing the ball all over the joint. Jeez, it must be very uncomfortable. No, I'm from Scotland, which is obviously north of Midlands. So it would be nice of course if they win, but